Welcome to the Deep Dive. We've gathered a whole stack of the latest articles, research, even our own notes, all to pull out the most important insights and, yeah, some surprising facts just for you.
Exactly.
Today, we're really digging into the latest shifts in cybersecurity and tech news, covering a lot of ground from AI threats to some critical policy decisions happening right now.
And it's more than just headlines, right? We really want to connect the dots for you, understand the why behind it all,
Yeah.
get to the core of what actually matters in, well, this digital world that keeps changing so fast, helping you see the real world impact.
Keeping your systems safe is super important as businesses rely more and more on digital systems, and that's where turnkey cybersecurity can really help.
Yeah, we're here to help small businesses just like yours make sure they're safe and sound in this crazy world of cybersecurity. And we offer a whole suite of services specifically tailored for you. So that's ensuring CMMC compliance and doing penetration testing. We also run vulnerability scans, and we can help you develop a comprehensive risk assessment.
And it doesn't stop there, right?
No, it doesn't.
We handle incident response, should the unfortunate happen, and we guide you through migrations like GCC. We just want to make sure your transitions are smooth and that you're secure.
It's all about peace of mind, right? You focus on what you do best, running your business, and we'll make sure that your digital world is safe and sound.
Okay, let's jump in and unpack this first bit.
Yeah.
It really feels like seeing is definitely not believing anymore, especially with AI in the mix. It's pretty unsettling, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Advanced AI, it's enabling these incredibly sophisticated scams. I mean, scams that just challenge our basic idea of what's real.
Like that Hong Kong story.
Exactly, the Hong Kong police report.
Yeah.
You had a finance worker at a multinational firm, right? Tricked into paying out $25 million.
25 million.
Yeah. After a Zoom call where everyone else on the call,
Wow.
completely AI-generated deepfakes.
Wow.
The audacity, the realism, it's staggering. Police have made 6 arrests already for similar stuff.
Okay.
And they've documented, I think, over 20 cases where AI deepfakes actually fooled facial recognition programs, mimicking people from, stolen or fake ID cards.
And it gets even more alarming when you look at, state-sponsored actors getting involved.
Right.
We're hearing about North Korea's Blue Noroff group using AI deepfakes in, again, fake Zoom calls, but this time to push Mac malware.
Yeah, it's targeted.
So imagine this. You're executive, you get a call. Looks like your boss, but it's a deepfake.
Mm.
And they trick you into installing spyware, specifically going after crypto firms, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
The sources called it unusually advanced tradecraft. What does that actually mean, though, in practice?
Well, it signals a really profound shift. Randolph Barr, he's the CISO over at Sequence, he really kind of nails it. He says combining these AI deepfakes, in real-time video with very personalized social engineering, that's a major shift in the sophistication of cyber attacks.
So it's not just a generic email anymore.
No, not at all. They're creating this convincing real-time illusion. And this tradecraft, it lets them deliver all sorts of Mac malware, info stealers grabbing data, keyloggers tracking typing, even backdoors for persistent access.
So the deepfake is just one part of a bigger tailored attack. Sometimes it starts small, like a Google Meet invite, maybe.
Could be. Or even, tricking job seekers,
Right.
sending malware in files from what looks like a recruiter.
Yeah.
It just needs that one moment, that one click based on misplaced trust.
Yeah.
And that's why defending against it is so hard. It looks real, it feels real, it plays on human trust.
So technical defenses aren't enough.
Well, they're vital, of course, against the malicious code itself. But a really effective strategy now has to involve monitoring the aftermath, looking for signs like, significant data suddenly leaving the network or weird lateral movement inside. Those kinds of actions can trigger alerts if you have the right monitoring setup. It forces us all to rethink what trust even means in a digital chat or call.
It really does make you think how this increasing realism just challenges all the old ways we defended ourselves. A whole new era of digital trust, or maybe lack of trust.
Yeah.
But it's not just AI stirring things up on the digital frontier, is it? There are these complex legal battles, legislative fights, shaping the future of AI and cybersecurity. This is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, and connecting this to the bigger picture, that Anthropic AI copyright case, it's a perfect example of these new legal puzzles.
Right, the fair use case.
Exactly. Judge William Alsup, he gave this fascinating split ruling. He said, okay, using copyrighted books to train the AI models, that's fair use. Why? Because the training itself is transformative. It's about learning patterns, not just copying.
Okay, that makes sense.
But, and this is the crucial part, The act of actually copying and storing over 7 million pirated books for that training, that was ruled not fair use.
Ah, the copying itself.
Precisely, and that distinction matters a lot. Willful copyright infringement can mean fines up to $150,000 per work.
Per work, with 7 million books.
Do the math. Theoretically, it could run into, well, the headline said $1 trillion.
$1 trillion, seriously.
I mean, it's theoretical maximum, but staggering. Anthropic's defense was basically, paying authors would hamstring us. And Alsop bought the fair use for training argument.
But it's not over.
Oh, not by a long shot. You've got OpenAI, Meta, other big AI players facing similar accusations. This is going to be a long, complex legal fight. It's going to redefine IP for the AI age.
And while that's unfolding, we have this critical law, the Cybersecurity Information Sharing Act, CISA 2015, about to just expire.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It's vital, right? It shields companies from liability when they share cyber attack info with the feds,
Yeah.
and it handles data privacy for that sharing.
Crucial protections.
But we're down to, what, 99 calendar days? And not many actual legislative session days left in that, if it lapses.
The prediction is pretty stark. Most companies will just instantly stop sharing.
Why?
Risk. The risk of class action lawsuits becomes immediate without that liability shield.
Okay, but is the 2015 law even up to date?
Well, that's the rub, isn't it? It was designed for, 2010 threats. It doesn't really grasp today's AI attacks or, the whole mess of supply chain security.
Right.
And add to that, there's this severe talent gap in federal cybersecurity. CISA itself, the agency, lost a third of its people to the private sector.
Ouch.
So without this specific law, those voluntary data sharing agreements, they become non-binding. Basically, no protections, no sharing. It's a mess.
So Congress has to choose.
Hmm.
Just extend an outdated law quickly or try to fix it, which takes time they don't have.
It's a classic legislative dilemma. Extend something maybe suboptimal or risk having nothing while you try to perfect it.
It feels like a really tough spot, especially when you see the government taking what look like contradictory stances on tech elsewhere.
How so?
Well, the U.S. House Office of Cybersecurity just banned WhatsApp.
Banned WhatsApp.
Why? Their reasoning was lack of transparency in how it protects user data, absence of stored data encryption, and potential security risks.
Okay, wait. WhatsApp uses the Signal protocol, right?
What?
Which is widely seen as top tier for end-to-end encryption.
Exactly.
So suggesting Apple and Microsoft are somehow more transparent, that feels like a stretch. With a straight face, even.
So what's the real reason, maybe?
One plausible theory, though they wouldn't say it, is maybe it's just harder for authorities to eavesdrop on staffers' conversations with Signal's E2E encryption.
Ah, okay.
And on a related note, there's also a bill being proposed to ban federal agencies from using AI models from China, Russia, other places deemed hostile, like DeepSeek from China.
Okay, so trying to wall off certain technologies while questioning others. Interesting dynamics. So let's broaden the lens beyond just AI. The cyber threat landscape is huge, right? And it's not always the super advanced stuff causing the biggest headaches.
That's a really crucial point. Sometimes it's surprisingly low-tech methods having massive impact.
Like the UK retail attack.
Exactly. Those recent attacks on Marks and Spencer, Co-op, Harrods, the estimated cost is somewhere between £270 and $440 million.
Wow. That's $362 to $591 million US. Huge numbers.
Huge. And the group often blamed Scattered Spider, known for hitting retail. They're now apparently shifting focus. Aviation, transportation, WestJet, Hawaiian Airlines are potential targets.
And how are they getting in?
This is the kicker. Mostly using very low-tech methods, mostly social engineering.
So just tricking people.
Pretty much. It proves that the human element, our vulnerability, is still a major attack vector, maybe the biggest.
And think about the disruption when these hit, like the city of Abilene in Texas.
Yeah, I saw that.
They're looking at a 4-month recovery from a cyber attack. 4 months. They have to replace everything. Network gear, laptops, desktops, everything.
It's devastating.
It really makes you stop and think, what would happen if that occurred to you? To your business or even personally?
Yeah.
Could you survive that kind of reset?
It's a sobering thought, definitely. Highlights the need for really solid recovery plans, not just prevention. And beyond those big incidents, there's a whole swarm of other specific threats buzzing around.
Like what?
Well, there's a new Android banking Trojan that actually intercepts your calls to the bank.
Intercepts the call. How?
It seems to spread through shady third-party app stores, the kind you shouldn't be using anyway. Then there was a design flaw in board doc software.
Used by schools, right?
Yeah, lots of school districts use it. And the flaw exposed attorney-client privileged documents. Not good.
Definitely not.
And ConnectWise, that big remote management product, they've been rotating exploitable code signing certificates. That's a huge trust issue.
A red flag, yeah.
Plus, this bad box malware campaign, it's quietly infected over 1 million home internet devices, routers, IoT stuff, turning them into these resilient botnets that are super hard to take down.
1 million devices.
Ah.
Wow. So the threat is everywhere, from your phone to your router, and looking at where tech meets geopolitics and infrastructure. It's not just software vulnerabilities, is it?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Physical infrastructure is a huge part of it now.
Like robotaxis? I mean, you see Uber and Waymo expanding in Atlanta, but then NHTSA is already poking Tesla about traffic violations for its driver assist.
Right, there's that layer. But think bigger picture. National security. Thousands of U.S. solar farms. They're apparently highly vulnerable to manipulation, potentially by China.
Solar farms. How?
Research suggests about 20,000 systems might already be compromised. Lots of components are communicating back to China in ways that aren't documented.
Right.
Meaning there's a real alarming possibility that a foreign power could just turn off parts of our energy grid remotely.
That's terrifying.
It is. And it fits a pattern, right? Think about the U.S. car industry facing shutdowns because China restricts rare earth magnets needed for EVs. It's about leveraging these tech dependencies strategically.
It's a stark reminder that even green tech can have these hidden security angles. Okay, shifting gears slightly, Microsoft just put out something called Microsoft 365 Windows Cloud PC.
Yeah, the Cloud PC, low-cost virtual desktops.
Seems like a simple solution maybe for like small-scale onesie-twosies deployments, as the notes say.
Could be useful for that, yeah. Low-effort VDI.
But then you look at platforms like XChat,
Yeah.
from Twitter X, they talk about features like disappearing messages.
Sounds secure.
But the encryption isn't truly end-to-end because Musk controls the keys.
So Twitter or X can actually read the messages and share them if they want.
Seems like it. So, yeah, not so encrypted after all.
Precisely. A really critical distinction for anyone thinking they're having a private chat there. And just rounding out the picture, there are a few other cyber and legal things bubbling up. The CMMC System Security Plan for defense contractors. Apparently, it's become an instant fail point in assessments if it's not right.
Okay, high stakes there.
Yep. And Apple's facing a class action lawsuit over how iCloud restricts device backups. More debates about data ownership, access.
Always with Apple.
Seems so. And in crypto, the Senate has a regulation bill trying to stop politicians profiting, but it's pretty limited right now, just stablecoins.
Yeah.
Might give a false sense of security about wider crypto risks.
Right.
Oh, and the DOJ is planning to use civil forfeiture rules to try and claw back about $200 million in stolen crypto. Getting aggressive there.
Okay, so a lot happening across the board. All right, as we bring this deep dive to a close, man, the sheer volume of all this and how interconnected it all is, these cybersecurity challenges, the tech shifts, it's staggering. Feels like constant, rapid change.
It really does. And I think the core message pulling from all these sources is pretty clear. Yeah, knowledge is power, but it's most valuable when you actually understand it and apply it.
Right.
Because it seems the federal government is continuing what some call this cost-shifting strategy, basically telling businesses critical infrastructure and, by extension, telling you you're kind of on your own.
Yeah, that feeling comes through.
So the burden for security, for resilience, it's falling more and more on individuals, on organizations. It's not just the IT department's problem anymore. It's everyone's.
So the final thought for you listening.
Yeah.
What does all this really mean for you? If the government is maybe stepping back a bit and the threats are just getting smarter, more pervasive every day, what uncharted territories, what new kinds of personal or organizational preparedness do we need to explore? How do we really stay safe and informed in this digital world that just won't stand still? It's definitely something that demands constant learning, constant adaptation.